This is my Napoleonic Wars board game, and today I'm going to be testing it for the first time. Here I've set up a temporary board that's 2 grid paper pieces, and I divided them into rectangles that can fit units at full strength. I also have my dice, which I made. These are the infantry dice, these are the cavalry dice, and these are the artillery dice. And in this sample scenario I have the Russians versus the French. And both of them have 1 artillery, 1 cavalry, and 5 infantry units. France is going to go first, and the first thing they're going to do is write orders on one of these papers. The board is divided into 3 sections, each is 2 rectangles long. This is the left flank, center flank, right flank. And instead of making it so you get to order every single unit, instead you roll a die at 4. That means I get to order 4 units, and I get to divide those 4 between each section. So the center has the artillery and the cavalry, so I'll do 2 in the center and 1 on each other flank. And I'll do that using my musket pen. And this is my first turn, so I get to play this immediately in the discard pile. So first I'm going to start off by carrying out my order for the center flank, and I'll order the cavalry. So the cavalry is the fastest. They can move 4 squares, infantry can move 2, artillery can move 1. And artillery can attack when it moves 1, and infantry can attack when it moves 2, but instead it can move 1 and still attack. I was inspired to have these movement rules by Memoir 44. So cavalry can only attack units adjacent to it, because cavalry doesn't have any long-range weapons. Infantry and artillery can attack if there's space between them and the unit they're attacking, however. I'll send my cavalry, trying to get them towards the Russian artillery to take them out. So I'll move 1, 2, 3, 4. And I get another order for the center. And the artillery has a range of 8 rectangles. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they can't reach the Russians yet. And I could move them forward, but I'm not going to, because the Russians will probably advance soon. So they're going to stay back, and instead I'll move the infantry to catch up with the cavalry too. And units can move across section. Another thing you can do is you can combine 2 units. For my order for this flank, I'm going to move 1, 2, and combine these 2 units into a unit of 6. And then for this flank, I'll move 1, 2. And now I write my order for next turn, and it can't be changed. I did this way to reflect how in the Napoleonic Wars messages were sent by horseback. So if things could happen, the horse rider could be shot, artillery might hit near the horse and knock it over, and it also took some time for orders to reach the front lines. So you write your orders at the end of the turn for next turn. I'm going to roll the dice again. And another thing you can do is you can skip, if you skip your turn, then you get to order all units without having to worry about dice rolling. But I'm not going to be doing that. So let me roll, and I only rolled a 1. I think I'll do the 1 in the center because the Russians might come into artillery range. So here's my order for next turn, and if I was playing against a person, I wouldn't let them see it. And I put it underneath. These are the figurines. This is the one for France, the metal soldier, and this is the one for Russia, or any of the Allied powers. So you put it face down underneath until next turn. I was inspired by the political commissar in the Eastern Front expansion of Memoir 44. Now it's Russia's turn. So Russia's going to roll the dice and write an order. Russia rolled a 3. How I'm going to do this is I'll do 1 on the left flank, 2 in the center. And I'm going to play that right now. So first, let me see, can I? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think I'm going to send my cavalry forward. And now they can attack the French cavalry. Cavalry gets to roll 2 dice against an adjacent unit. And here are my cavalry dice. So let me roll the 2 die, and I'll explain what the different symbols mean after I roll. Okay, this is a miss. That's what that red dash means. And this is a retreat. So the French cavalry must retreat. They can either go here, here, or here. And I'm going to choose to have them go here so that they remain adjacent to the 2 infantry units. And now for my second order, I'm going to have the artillery open fire on the French cavalry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which means, let me look at my rule book. This page has the ranges. So the artillery range, it rolls 1 die. Here's my artillery die. Let me roll it. And it's a miss. So the French cavalry got lucky, and they did have to retreat, but they took no casualties. Now, on the left flank, I'm going to move this platoon 1, 2. These miniatures are pretty small, so they fall over easily. But I was able to get a lot of them. And I also have other colors, such as red for the British Empire, black for the Prussians, white for the Austrians. And then I have other colors too, but I'm not sure what I'm going to assign them to. So now, for Russia, I'm going to write my next turn's order. Let me roll the die. And I got a 5. France only got a 1, so I got lucky. So one flank is going to get 3 orders. Only one of them has 3 units, and that's the center. So I think that I'll want to have this unit fire, and I'll have this unit join them. So I'll do 2 on the left flank. Definitely the cavalry, and I think also the artillery. So I'll do 2, and then in the other flank I'll do 1. So this will be my order for next turn. And let me put it underneath my general. So now I'm playing for France, and let me reveal the card. And only 1 unit in the center. Let me see how many dice the infantry unit can order. So it can roll 2 dice, because normally it would be 1, but because they're confined, they can roll 2. However, I think instead I'm going to order the cavalry. Move 1, 2, 3, and attack with 2 dice. Okay, so this means wounded. So that means the Russian cavalry figure gets put on its side. And this means retreat. So the other figure has to retreat. And I think I'll just move straight back. Now let me roll the die. Okay, I got a 6. I got lucky this time. So I'll do 2 in each section, because that's how many I have in each section. Let me put it under my general. Okay, now Russia. Two, 2, 1. They actually aren't in range of anything. So if they moved here, they would still be out of range. And I think another rule I'm going to add is you can't go diagonally. So this unit could only move here, 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 or here. I'm going to move this unit 1, 2, and then I'll move this unit forward 1, and I'll have these guys join them next turn. And meanwhile, they can wait for an attack from these French soldiers. I think I'm going to try attacking back with my cavalry, even though I only have one figure. Just like Memoir 44, I think I've decided that even if they're missing a figure, they still get to roll the regular amount of dice. Otherwise, it'd make it so if you attack first, it gives you a really big advantage, even though defending often gives you an advantage. So the Russians rolled 2 die against the French cavalry. Oh, and they wounded both of the cavalry figures. So I can either order this infantry. Let me see the range. If the artillery is in range of these infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, they're not in range. I'll move these infantry figures. 1, 2. I'll roll the dice. And I got a 4. I want to order both on this flank. So I'll do a 2 there. And then that gives me 2 more. I can do 2 in the center, 1 here and 1 here. But I think that because the French cavalry is gone, now the artillery probably won't be very useful. So I'll do 1 in the middle, 1 in the right flank. Put it under my general. Now France's turn. 2, 2, 2. In the future, it will be possible to bring back wounded figures. An infantry unit can bring a wounded cavalry or infantry to the field hospital. But in this game, there's no field hospital, there's no terrain. The wounded figures are not going to be doing anything for the rest of the game. So I'll move 1, 2. And now for the center, I have 2 more orders. Am I in range? 3, 2, 1. I am in range. It's harder for cavalry to get hit by infantry, so the infantry only rolls 1. So here's my infantry die, let me roll it. And the Russian cavalry must retreat. Now is the artillery in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to have them fire on the cavalry with 1 die. Let me see if I can do anything. Oh, they wounded the Russian cavalry. So now there's no cavalry in the game anymore. And now my 2 for this unit. So I'll move 1, 2 here. I can order this unit to move into this unit. So now I have another group of 6. Now let me roll the dice. I only got 1. I'll stick to the center. So I'll issue an order to 1 unit. I'll do 1 in the center. I'll put it under the general. Now Russia. Okay, so 2 in this flank. 1, 2, and now I'm not going to order the other unit because there's no enemy units in range. And then 1 in the center. Let me see if they're in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, they're not in range. I'll have to move 1. Now here I'll have these move 1, 2. Let me roll the dice. Oh. I got 3. So I've decided from now on, a confined unit. There are 2 things you can do. You could use 1 unit order to order it, but then it only uses half its strength, and you can only move half of the unit. If you use 2 unit orders for one of the confined units, then they are ordered like normal. Otherwise, it gives you an incentive to confine all your units together so that you don't need to roll as high dice to order them. So I'll divide Russia as 3. I'll give 2 to the right flank and 1 to the center. Under the general, Now I'll open Francis, and only one in the center. And they're not in range of anyone. I could have 3 soldiers break off from this unit, and let me see if they're in artillery range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll have the artillery fire on these. And it's a wound, so one of these is wounded. And instead of having a certain field hospital place, I might have it where, for example, if you bring a wounded figure here to the edge, or maybe even to here, you can use that as the field hospital. Because otherwise it'll take too long and it won't be worth it to heal wounded units. But we're not going to do that because we don't want this test game to go on for too long. That was my only order. Now let me roll the dice. I should stop rolling it on the board. Okay, I got a 6. I went from 1 to 6 to 1. So I keep on getting lucky and unlucky. I get to order all of them because I have 6 units. So the 2 in the left flank, 3 in the center, and 1 on the right. Okay, Russia's, they order 2 and 1. If I move them here, 3, 2, 1, they won't be in range, but they'll be closer, so I'll do that. Or I could move them 2, but then they might get attacked, so I'll just move 1. Let me see about the artillery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're still out of range. I'll just have the artillery move forward 1 for my center order. Roll the dice. I only got 1. I think I'll use that 1 in the center, so I can order the artillery or the unit. In the future, instead of just cutting up scratch paper, I might print out some small cards and they could have the symbol of the country they're for. Now, Francis' turn. One, 3, 2. So for my 1, I'll move 1, 2. Now for 2 of my center unit, I'll just move 1, 2. Because there's really no benefit of staying here because then I can't attack them, but the artillery can get me. And moving closer, it doesn't give the artillery any more power against me. Now the artillery, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'll attack them. Ooh, I killed one. That's what this X means. That's a kill. So the figure is removed from the board. Oh, and I still get to order these guys. Okay, 3, 2, 1. They're out of range. I'll move them 1 here. They would normally roll 1, but because they're 2, they get to roll 2 of the infantry dice. Okay, so what this is, it's supposed to look like a bloody sword. And this only works if you're right next to the unit you're attacking, and this is a kill. But it doesn't work because they're far away. This retreat, so the Russians must retreat 1 space. Now, roll the dice. I got a 2. You know what? I'll do 1 in the center and 1 here, because then I can still use half of the strength for these big units. So I'll do 1 center, 1 right flank. This is Russia's, just 1 in the center. Use the artillery and the infantry. Infantry would be 3, 2, 1. Artillery would be, let me count the range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they get to roll 1 die. I'll use the artillery because I'm pretty sure the artillery has a higher chance of causing damage. Because in the Napoleonic Wars, most bullets that hit their target would wound, they wouldn't kill. But artillery, they were a lot more likely to kill. So I have the dice designed that way too, where artillery is more likely to kill than infantry. So here's 1 artillery die. and retreat. So I made the big unit retreat. They'll just go backwards. And I'll make it so they can only go backwards, I think. I'll roll the dice. Okay, 4. You know what? I'll give 2 in the center and 2 here. So that way the big unit and both of these units can be ordered. Oh no, my cat has come. Please, Otto. I'm in the middle of filming. You can mess it up after the game's done. So I could split off 3 to get closer and attack them, but I don't want to because they're powerful, so I'll just stay here. And then for the center, I'll split off 3 to move 1, and then they get to roll 1 die against the infantry here. And it's a miss. Uh-oh, so I split my big unit. It didn't pay off. Let me roll the dice. So 3. I'll do 2 in the center, 1 on the right flank. 2, 2. I'll have these guys move forward 1, and then they'll attack them, and they can roll 2 dice. And the range doesn't increase when you combine 2, so infantry can only still fire 3, 2, 1 hexes. It's just that they can roll more dice. So 2. 1 wound, 1 miss. So this guy gets knocked over. Now 2 for the center. Am I in range? 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll roll 1 dice in my last stand against the French. And retreat. That actually helped the French because now they can combine. And then the artillery, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And they wounded 1. By the way, these dice are not perfect squares, and yeah, these are just wooden cubes. I'll get different dice later, but for now I'll use these, but they might not be completely fair. 3. So I'm going to split those 3. 1 in the center, 2 on the left flank. 2, 1. So I'll have these guys move 1 forward. As long as they're more than 3, they get to roll double, even though one of the guys was wounded. So 3, 2, 1. It's 2 because they're grouped together. 1 stab, which is a miss, and 1 retreat. And then 1. I'll use half strength to roll 1 against these guys. And I wounded 1. Now let me roll the dice. 4. And this is my second to last one of these cards, and my camera's running low on battery, and also the battle is kind of becoming clear what the outcome is. Divide those 4. I'll do 2 center, 2 left. Two on the left, 1 in the center. So I'll order these guys to roll 2 against the other unit. Oh, both of them are wounds. So that means these guys now only have half of their original who can fight, which means they don't get the benefit of being grouped anymore. And now 1 in the center. I'll have their artillery fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that means 1. Artillery range. See, so far it's only been in 1. No one's got too close. And it's a wound. So one of these guys is wounded. Not this one. You're still fine. At the end of the turn, let me roll the dice. 5. This is my last order. I'll do 2 in the left, 2 in the center, 1 on the right. This is France's last order. But now it only takes 1 because there's only 3 figures. I just want to get better range. I'll move forward 1 and fire, and I get to roll 2 dice. Okay, 1 miss, 1 wound. These guys in the center are going to move forward 1, 3, 2, 1. They get to roll 2 dice. 1 wound, 1 retreat. So the infantry is wounded. Russia's turn. France doesn't roll the dice because this is the last turn for now. 2, 2, 1. They're going to move in for a final blow. I won't have them double the dice because I only have 3. So let me roll. They have to retreat twice, and the others miss. And they can retreat over the wounded. 1, 2. Now 2 in the center, but I only have 1 unit, so I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still only 1 die. Okay, I killed one of the French, so now they don't get any benefits anymore. And now 1 here, so these will move 1 and they get to roll 2 infantry die against the infantry. Both misses. I'm done for now because I ran out of these cards. Let me determine who's the winner. So Russia has 2, 3, 4, 5 units. France has 4. And let me count the casualties. Both lost 2 cavalry. Russia, 4 infantry wounded, 1 killed. France, 5 infantry wounded, 1 killed. So France took slightly higher casualties. They didn't gain much ground. Only this unit got past the center, and the artillery is firing on them, and they're close to other units. So I don't think they're going to be very successful. And then the Russians still have a unit back here that hasn't seen combat. They have 1 double strength unit, 1 single strength, and they have their artillery. France only has 3 groups of 3 and 1 artillery, which can't reach. I don't think they can. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, they can reach the Russians. But let's call it a victory for Russia because France took higher casualties and Russia has better control over the center. The Russian general is celebrating. He's getting a medal from the Tsar. And the French are going to have to regroup and wait for the next battle. Looking back at this game, I think it went pretty well. I had a lot of fun playing it and I don't think any units were overpowered. And my next step is that I'm going to make terrain rules and terrain tiles, and I'll make a cardboard board, and also I'll update the rules to include the changes I made throughout this game. If you'd like to see more of the development of this game, please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.